what you want? And are you getting what
Welcome, everybody,
you
to
need?
episode 23 of the No Means No Thing podcast. No Means Nothing podcast, whichever
That's
way you
two
prefer.
followed by a 3. That's a lot of
2
episodes.
followed by 3. Yes, it's a hell of a lot. 23, for those of you weirdos, is, as you know, a magic number, not just because of Michael Jackson, and I think appropriate, because this episode's going to be a magic episode, or as I like to call it, the last episode of the podcast. I'm just kidding. You'll find out why. Anyway, you know me, your fuckmaster Jordan.
I'm Matthew.
I like to laugh a lot. My name's Michelle.
Excellent. And you've caught us once again completely unawares in the midst of a casual conversation about the very best band on the planet. And guess what? It's not just us that think so.
Nope.
The Slate Family Polaris Heritage Pride
Bring
got
it.
announced today.
Bring
This is old news to most of you, but fuck yes. Wrong,
Nice.
baby.
Nice.
Wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know about you two, but I am waiting for that poster. I cannot wait to have a giant wrong poster on my wall. That's going to kick
man.
ass.
You know, one of the winners of that ran out of posters. The year Glenn Gould won, because I would have gotten that poster now that I know
Well,
about it. And it was,
I'm gonna-
it said sold out.
Yeah.
I'm going to refresh.
Those two
I'm gonna
words are not
refresh.
going to be happening with that.
It's like historical albums, like of significance, Canadian albums. It's kind of like the I guess in the UK it's the Mercury Prize. It's kind of similar.
Oh. Do they have anything like that here?
I don't know,
We're fucking Americans. We're too dumb for that shit.
but anyway, yeah, it's pretty great because a lot of the stuff that I don't know, the significant albums don't tend to go in that direction very often. It seems so.
Yeah.
It's nice to have that recognized. That
Absolutely.
not just pop music,
Yeah.
not just kind of famous stuff, So that's great.
Long ago,
Congratulations.
and not forgotten. Yes.
I'm telling you, I had said this before we started this podcast when we were all just kind of talking about it. I do feel in my bones that there's a No Means No Renaissance afoot. And this is just
Yep.
another one of those bricks in that wall, so to speak. Like there's just one more thing, one more bit of recognition. Who knows
the band is
where that'll
vibrating.
go, but
There's a
they
hum
are,
in the
man.
air. There's a
There's,
hum in the air.
there's a whole new generation. What's only been 10 years since they've
Well-
been gone, but we'll be born to discover them.
Nice thing that I was reading about the prize. I didn't know very much about it, but there are initiatives in the past where sort of the historical winners, I guess more contemporary members, they get together and they do covers of the heritage ones that win. So that would be pretty cool.
That would be hella cool.
Yeah.
Wait,
hella
what are you
cool.
saying? The bands get back together and play again? Is that
No,
what you
no,
just
no.
No,
said?
like the contemporary winners,
The
right,
ones who
from
win,
more
like,
contemporary
nowish.
awards. Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll do covers of the historical winners, which is what No Means No won. So we could get some good covers out of it. That'd be hella cool.
Yeah.
Or bad
be hella
ones.
cool.
Could
I'll take anything. Give me
All right.
anything.
Yeah.
Just bring it to the kids, man.
No Means No Lounge.
Well, I'm going to raise my glass of
Uh-oh.
Amarniak to. We got a nice tall one today because boy, do I need it. And yeah, I'm boring as fuck, but boy, this shit tastes good. And mine is not piss yellow like yours, Michelle. I got
No.
that sweet,
No,
sweet
it's
red
it's
brown
like
juice.
yeah, it's
Look
like
at that. Mm.
I know. Uh-oh.
Real turpentine.
Matthew bent over. He's picking something off the
Well,
floor.
that's just where my beers are.
Yeah, but
Oh,
Michelle, are you mixing it up today, or we get that?
I am
sweet,
mixing
sweet
it up.
ASMR? Ooh,
I'm mixing
yeah.
it up. I got 2 beers in case we run a little over.
Mm-hmm.
But I am mixing it up. In the past, I've had Irish Death.
Yes.
And the same company has come out. I don't think they have it year round, but it's the time of year where they have
Manx Death?
Mocha Death.
Mocha Death.
Mocha
Okay.
Death.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's
So
not a
it's-
Celtic people.
No.
So is
they
that like a
have,
chocolate beer or something?
ale brewed with coffee and cocoa.
Fuck yeah, that sounds delicious and dark and rich and yummy.
No
That's-
widget.
That's still a nice sound. Some bitches brew right there.
Yep.
I guess I can't make that joke anymore.
I hope this doesn't keep me up. I can usually drink a cup of coffee and go to bed.
Oh, me too. I'm a 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. I got a big old giant cup of coffee every night.
Yeah,
That's me.
yeah. It's fucking
course-
weird. But I know
of
people
course-
who can't drink coffee after 3 and they're up all night. So
Fucking wimps. But then
Yeah.
again, I'm also, from like 10 to midnight smoking weed. So that's just kind of counteracts, I guess.
Yeah,
Once
my beer
everyone's
looks like your
everyone's asleep.
Armagnac, kind of. If you put
It
it in
sorta
the light,
does.
anyways. If you put
Cheers
it in
on
the
that.
light, it turns it. Yeah. All right.
All right, so now it's time for the game show. Maybe what do we got?
Well,
Matthew? Let's,
The game show.
I, like Michelle, have prepared for this to be a long one, so I'm not going to give you choices so much as just to show you what I'm probably going to be drinking.
perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Matthew's built a bar in the garage.
Actually, we did buy a new fridge, so I will be getting the little fridge in as a
Oh,
beer
boy.
fridge
Nice.
this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So we got the turned out spruce tip ale from Steel and
Nice.
Oak.
Out. I've been turned out. Who sings that?
I like that label. I don't know who sings that.
Yeah, it's a good
It's the
label.
Rollins band.
But there's not going to be. This is a donation from a friend and listener. Hey, Fader.
Fader? You got friends with cool names, man.
No
he
shit.
brought this to me, and this is something that I've been not permitted. He's like, yeah, no, it's for the podcast. So here it is. You like that last label? What
Yeah.
about this fucking label?
Oh hell yes.
Oh, shit.
Oh hell yes.
You got to keep that can.
I know,
I
man.
just I
Tell
just
everybody
saw,
what you got there.
This is Rush beer, and it has like the 2112 logo on it. And
Oh, my God.
it is a Canadian golden ale. It says books are for tourists. What else does it say? It's Henderson Brewing Company. So
that's
Fader
amazing.
ordered this from Ontario somewhere.
No shit.
Yeah, he got like a case of beer and gave me one of them.
That's
Wow.
incredible. That's incredible. We just saw Parker and I went down and saw first concert since pandemic.
Oh, the Primus one?
The Primus, yeah, where
Oh,
they
shit.
covered
Fuck, how was
Farewell
that?
to Kings. It was amazing.
Really?
It was weird as fuck to be around that many people, but it's outside at the Greek Theater in Berkeley, which is an outdoor amphitheater, so that was
Oh,
great.
good.
Just covered in weed, right? Of course, because now it's legal, so it's even worse than it used to be. But that was great. Claypool ripped it up. Look at that.
of
Look at
course
that
he did.
can. Holy
Are we
shit.
going to make
Rush
it
beer.
cheers? Are we
And
gonna make
I
it
do
cheers?
believe that Rush won Polaris Heritage Prize in the past.
Nice.
So.
It
Yes,
all
they
ties
did.
in. It all
Yeah.
ties
Cheers.
in. Listeners, we're cheersing you. Hopefully you're sitting around the
Yep.
campfire or in
Or
your
shopping
living room
in a
or wherever the
Costco.
fuck. Shopping at a Costco. Driving
That's nice.
around, hopefully not drinking. But here's to you, listener. And here's
Oh,
to
man,
a night
that's good.
where we'll probably lose half of you because we're going to have to make some real tough choices. And buckle up. We got some songs tonight, folks. I'm not going to me, the real hard part's in the back half, so we won't spoil that. Although, again, I wish we didn't have to put the names of the songs that we're doing in the episode descriptions, but there's all sorts of reasons that we should. So you probably already know what the songs are, but in case you don't, just settle in.
Are you guys going to be all right?
Also wondering,
I'm excited.
how many people are listening past the last, the outro of Stock Taking, because we have a little surprise there. It's the surprise that we experience when we let the randomizer pick the songs.
Yeah, most of you, I think, haven't heard that. You haven't been listening, but I'll tell you what, if you haven't and you're hearing this episode and you haven't listened to them, go back and listen to the very, very end of last one, because that got a little wild. That one was a little wild. That's probably the best one yet.
Because you're a
And-
wild and crazy guy.
Because I'm stupid. Yeah. All right. So shit. Let's talk about this first pairing. This is a fun one. It's good. Happy to dive into this. I'm happy to talk about all these songs. What a fucking honor to get to sit here and just talk about these songs. So
Yeah.
we're gonna start with this pairing. We've got This Story Must Be Told off of Dance of the Headless Bourgeoisie, 1998, versus Pigs and Dogs off of One Down, Two to Go from 1994. But this is actually a home demo from the 79 to 80 range. So this was one of those early unreleased tracks that came out on One Down, Two to Go. So we are going to dive right in and talk about these. But first, we're going to tell a little of this story.
He rolled his eyes, he laughed and he cried. He said, I'd kill myself if I was still alive. He rigged me up with a tongue like sand, cursing in a language that nobody understands. There she blows, he turned and he cried, pointing to the center of an empty sky. There she is, my lady true. Her laughter cuts my heart in two. Her eyes are blank, her face is stone. Leave me alone, leave me alone. She shattered with a chapter all my dreams and all my thoughts. She licked me with her tongue and she told me with her claws. She ripped away my soul like I ripped away her clothes. She said, I know a little story. This story must be told. In the light I see nothing left
All right, Matthew, you're first up to talk to us about this story. What do you think?
It's a story. It's definitely a story that gets told, and it is about.
That's very heady, Matthew. I'm sorry. I'm an asshole.
Indeed, it's an interesting one. It's like definitely in No Means No's wheelhouse as a feminist band, and it's almost sort of heralds the Me Too movement. And I don't know how tongue in cheek it is. It's about a guy who rapes.
Oh.
And then it turns out that she sort of flips the script on him, and nobody's going to believe her, but nobody's going to believe him either at how powerful she was, and that he got blown away by giving into this power. I guess, I don't know. It's very difficult to parse because he's definitely slipping into nautical metaphors and religious metaphors. To do with this, so yeah, it makes the rapist into the victim in some bizarre way, where the woman's story, he's suffering from like the effects of not being believed, and I guess turnabout is fair play, more than fair play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an interesting song because it's in a major chord, and it's sort of bouncy. It's like one of these a little bit sort of folky kind of vocal delivery almost. But yeah, the power flips in this song, and a bunch of times he's using religious metaphor, like where he's yelling at a point in the sky, nobody believes him. He's a ranting crazy person, and this where it says 9 times. She bellied over me, and 9 times she rose from the foam. She, is he talking about a ship? Because bellying over is, I believe, something that a ship does when it comes up, and the sails belly out and bellied over. That's an interesting. Belly is a verb. Like the belly of a ship is a big heavy thing. If you're within it, you're safe, but if you're outside in the water, that's going to crush you.
Huh.
And then rose from the foam. Who do you know who did that? Aphrodite.
Rose from the foam.
Yeah, the goddess.
One of those lyrics.
The goddess of love, Aphrodite, like the perfect woman, and the virgin, I believe, or
Is
the
she the one in
virgin
the
birth.
clam? Is she
That's
the
right.
one in the clam with the red hair?
That's the one.
Oh, she's so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I looked like her.
So anyway, I think it's a song about the that men are actually not victims, but vulnerable, more vulnerable than they might think, and that's good. Maybe it's sort of foretelling the Me Too movement that maybe the onus shouldn't always be on the woman for where the power is in this relationship. Anyway, it's very complicated stuff, and I don't really want to make anybody mad about this, but
It's
I
tricky.
do think it's tricky. It's tricky, but I do think that No Means No it generally does a very, very good job with these sorts of themes and of power and sex and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. The again, sort of bellied over, belly up to. It's like an intimacy. You can belly up to the bar. You belly up to someone else. You also suck up to somebody, and it's like you'd think she's going to be repelled, but he actually draws him in closer to destroy him, and he deserves it.
Like a spider.
Yeah. Anyway, the drums in the bridge, and I love the drums and bass. Sort of everything's in unison in the bridge, and the wailing vocals. In the coda is like that chugging, with just restraint of power that No Means No does so well, with hints of letting it all go, and then all hell breaks loose. Yet it's still totally tightly controlled, and then ends with bass craziness.
Bass craziness.
Very, very fantastic
craziness.
song, and bass craziness. Well, the nautical theme fits with the nautical theme,
Right.
and with the bass. And we got more nautical themes coming up later. Anyway, that's about it for that one for me.
Nice.
Oh, also it's the first one on the album, which is interesting.
Right. Yeah, it's one of the openers.
about that?
All right.
See, I don't even
Michelle.
remember that.
Michelle, what about you?
Well, you know me, I never pay attention to the lyrics much, so my notes are all about the music, but I hear more about the lyrics, not from the song, but from you guys. I don't know. I didn't know he was talking about belly up, and I didn't know even though they were saying 9 times. I
Yeah.
I don't know
didn't
what the
know what they were
significance of
saying.
9
times.
is. I hope that Jordan has some idea what 9. I did it 9 times.
9.
Number 9.
9. It
Number
means
9.
no. It's no in German, and 9
Hey!
means no. So
mhm.
9 means
yeah.
9. That's
9
right.
means 9.
All right. That's funny what I just said. can I get a laugh here? 9 means 9. I am funny. All right.
Yes.
So this song has always been a bit straightforward for me. The guitar, which sounds crunchy and great, is pretty much following the bass part. I said that on purpose, the bass part. I do like it when they
will win.
do layer on the guitar and the bass, but personally, I would much rather hear some fucked up stuff between the cracks that jacks the whole thing up. I'm gonna say it. It always kind of sounded a little noodly.
Little
You
dude.
know, yeah, I'm sorry. I know you're making the face.
I'm making a big old face. That's good.
I'm being honest strangey here.
This is what we need, man.
Diddly 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 diddly. About 2/3 into the song, though, it's a really great instrumental that continues until the ending, and Rob is plowing out some great stuff. There's some juicy accented hits in there that bring back the sound of the band that I really adore. I don't understand how Rob sings and plays at the same time with some of the stuff he's doing. I don't know how he can do it. It's so talented. And it's pretty wild that this song and this singer, or that it's pretty wild that this same singer and band plays the song that we're going to hear going up against it.
Yeah.
Two completely different sides of the coin. My God.
Yep. All right. So I think I'll dive into my whatever talking about it from the music side first and then dip back into the lyrics. Boy, yeah, I couldn't disagree more. I think this song is tight as fuck. I think this is one of my favorite openings to a No Means No album. I think they have a history of great openers. Not in all of them. I think we'll get to maybe one or two where they leave me cold, but this one doesn't. I love it. I love the music in this. I only heard them play this once live through the wall during a sound check, and I was really hopeful that they, like, as I was waiting in line to get in, really hopeful they were going to play it,
man.
but they didn't. I think it was too hard. I think it's too hard to play this song live. Maybe I could be wrong, but I didn't find any live versions on YouTube. Maybe I didn't look hard enough, but it's fucking great. The music in this song kicks my ass. I love the bass line. I mean, yeah, it's kind of noodly, but I love that about it. I love its major chordness. Could the guitar, like, yes, this is probably a song, at least in the early parts, where the guitar could be a little less in sync, or it would be interesting to hear what the song was like if the guitar was a little more filling in the cracks in the way that it used to back in the old days.
Better than No Means No.
Well, sync and the other Hansons, right? Not the Hanson brothers,
right.
But the other Hansons. So of course,
Bop.
Boy band Jordan.
Bop. So, but I think the music in this kicks ass, and this is one of the last musical break. This is one of those No Means No beat drops where they just bring you, and they're teasing you, and they just fucking drop it right in your lap and crush my skull with it. It's gorgeous. And this is one of those songs I always want to just hit rewind on to listen to again, because I think musically it really gets me going. It gets my spine going. It speaks to a lot of what I really like about
my spine going. I like
it. Does. It's that kind of like, makes me feel visceral. This is a very visceral song.
Uh-huh.
And Matthew, I think that you nailed a lot about what is unpackable about this song. It's a weird, tricky one, really. To me, what I was thinking of when I didn't get the nautical shit at all about bellied, I didn't realize that. That's a great poll. To me, what I was thinking of is bellied over me would be if she was pinning her down, she kept getting control and rolling on top of him, like bellied over so that she was on top, and then he loses power and then he gains power and like kept rolling and rolling until she's on top. What this really made me think of was something, a pop culture reference from recently. Have either of you watched Reservation Dogs? That
only
show?
the first one.
Wait, Reservoir Dogs, you mean?
No. It's called Reservation Dogs, and it's made by all Native American cast and crew and writers. And it takes place on a reservation. It's purposeful that it's referring to Reservoir Dogs. Anyway, it's fucking kicks ass. Watch it. It's absolutely amazing. They have this. They have this episode, episode 5.
Taika Waititi's attached to it too, so he's
Yep.
not American Aboriginal, but he's
yeah,
New Zealander.
It's incredible. Anybody out there who hasn't watched this yet, it's absolutely fantastic show. But anyway, in episode 5, they have this character who's this woman that this character meets, who keeps picking up men, and it turns out that she's like this. I won't spoil it too much, but she's like a deer spirit, kind of, or like a vengeful spirit, and she keeps picking up these really shitty men, and they end up missing or brutally murdered. And this song reminded me of like, this sounds like this guy got way more than he bargained for. Like, he went in thinking he was going to have the power, and he met the spirit of fucking vengeance, someone who's not going to fucking take it. This is Kali sitting there with
Eileen
her long tongue
or something like that.
Yeah,
that
like,
serial killer lady.
Exactly. But it feels more, spiritual, right? It feels like he met a spirit. That's to
force,
me, really, he met a
Dexter.
force. Also on the more metaphorical part, and Matthew, you were talking about this too, it does feel like it approaches through that sort of metaphor, the idea that he who inflicts violence destroys himself too, right? Like when you do that, you kill your own soul.
Don't fuck with the divine feminine.
Yeah, don't fuck with the divine feminine, and like whatever you think is masculine about that, it's actually destroying anything real in you to enact that kind of violence. And I get that sense from it, but on the other hand, it's just this weird fucking story about a guy who encounters way more than he bargained for and loses his fucking mind. I mean, almost in a Lovecraftian way, right? Like he's wandering the streets, like you said, pointing up at the empty sky. And it's really evocative to me. And like the best No Means No songs, ambiguous. Like you can't firmly nail this one down. And it is tricky because I don't necessarily feel like it's making men the victims, but it is showing the damage you inflict on yourself through violence, right? It's and that part about, it was lies, we never heard about it. It's, again, just like you peg, Matthew, it's that, women aren't believed, and now you're not fucking believed, right? Like now you're right in the same boat. Just took away your power in all ways, including your ability to actually convince people of the truth. Really interesting. And I love this song. I think this is a banger opening. I always, again, want to listen to the song at least 2, maybe 3 times. Really love listening to it a million
what
times.
I like about it, it's more Thomish. I like one of the things I like about it, because it almost reminds me of a Showbiz Giants song in terms of the structure in some ways. Yeah.
And come on, guys, that musical break at the end, that's fucking power.
It's sick. It's sick.
That is sick as shit.
Yep.
Wow.
Listen to John too. Listen to John. He's going
more unanimity on that. All right. Well, let's. I guess I was last, so let's dip into this other one, Pigs and Dogs, and we're gonna hear some oinks and growls before we talk about it.
Everyone's committing suicide, so why don't you and I go jump off a bridge together, you and I? We can change our mind and come back home for one last fuck.
Matthew, you're up.
To me, this is like No Means No doing a Stooges song.
Yes.
A Stooges song?
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
It's kind of reminds me of, I guess. I don't know. It's certainly a song about the previous song was about a switch in the balance of power of sex. This is about like the debasement of both of them. Boredom of being the debasement of everything, not kings and queens but pigs and dogs. Impossible not to think of Animal Farm and maybe like Animals by Pink Floyd, where the dogs are the conniving businessmen and the pigs are power hungry, or maybe just plain old pigs and dogs just rolling around in the slop. I'll be your dog. I mean, that's got to be a Stooges reference.
You're probably fucking right. I didn't even get that. Shit.
It's about the right era, right? To be quoting that
probably
correctly.
And then, I'm depressed but not depraved, unless you'd like to, it's like he's proclaiming, and so you're sexually equal. We can exercise our right. I'm respecting you by you fucking me. We're gonna do all this disgusting stuff, and I'm a feminist because we can do whatever we want. So scumbag kind of like post hippie attitude towards sex. I love the beginning sort of. The strumming and pre-nodules Rob voice.
Yeah.
Everyone's so gentle. And then later on it's like dirty blues effects on the guitar. And the crazy fast redux at the end after the one
so
last
good. Fuck. And a really long silence. I just love how long they let that silence go.
It's a real jokey song about sort of something that comes up so often, and especially in early No Means No, about how everyone's obsessed with sex, but then just get bored of it.
Nice. All right, Michelle.
No Means No, getting bored of sex? I don't know. They bring it up. I don't know. They bring it up a little bit later, quite a bit.
Sex ennui instead of sex mad, I guess. Yeah.
This song kills me. I almost can't tell or couldn't tell who was singing it at first. I was like, who the fuck is that? But it really is a young Rob. This is I can't read my words. This really is a chugging, cool tune. They could have played it at CBGB's. See that? There's my Stooges little nod. They could have played it at CBGB's and fit right in. When we had this one come up, I didn't even know which song this was by the name. I didn't even know what the song Pigs and Dog was. And then I looked it up, and it was on the album One Down, Two to Go. And I love this album. I really like the weird stuff. And it's interesting that the mix has the fuzz guitar almost overpowering the vocals. It pretty much dominates the song. That probably was their TX4 track or whatever that was, but it's almost too much, but then it kind of makes sense. And there seems to be some bass in it, or just maybe lower guitar strings, but it's later on in the song that I think it shows up. The ending of this is just fantastic. They bring back the original beginning vibe of the song, suggest a fuck that echoes, and then they go wild. Very cool art piece that I would have loved to see live someday.
Oh, yeah, fuck.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, Matthew, you referenced the Stooges, but I think it's the better reference. I think that's a fucking good one. I just like this. This feels like No Means No George Thorogood to me. I'm just like,
George Thorogood.
Yeah, Bad to the Bone, that guy.
Yeah, I know, but that's not the Stooges.
I know it's not. That's what I'm saying. Stooges is better. But listen, I like this song. It's good, crunchy blues.
Bad to the fuck.
Yeah, it's good, crunchy blues. I mean, what a slime bag narrator. This guy's a fucking slime bag. I mean, this is like low key, like it fits in the No Means No apocalypse genre.
Apocalypse, yeah.
Everyone's going to kill themselves, but they're just killing themselves because they're fucking bored and slimy.
Yeah,
also just lazy, maybe.
Lazy, exactly. Like we just see your face is rumpled like the sheets. There's just all these great lines.
Bored of sex, just be boring in general.
Exactly. This
so
is one of those.
Don't do sex anymore.
Right, and maybe like the only way to get past that is if we get really fucking nasty about it. Like, should we do that? Oh no. You think I'm an ass for suggesting that? Anyway, I have to admit I'd never really paid attention that much to the lyrics before this go around. I'd heard it. I liked the song. I was always more into just the crunchy blues part. So reading the lyrics, I really liked them. I thought it was great, and I love Rob's delivery. The way that the pacing of the lyrics, some of the way that he delivers these lines, if you just read them on the page, they're fine, but the rhythm that he declaims them is so fucking musical and great. It's really interesting. I love the patter and the rhythm of his delivery. It's fucking great. Again, yeah, that crunchy ending's fucking great. The super fast blues, but Pessa, I don't have much to say about this. This song's a curio to me. I like it, but it's a great view into No Means No's past. But yeah, I listened to this one. I'm like, great, pigs and dogs. What a great piece of history. But it doesn't do anything else for me. That said, it's amazing. It's No Means No. What are you gonna do? It's amazing. Great to hear Rob's early voice. But that's the sigh I was making when you were talking about Story Must Be Told. So
I know. I'm an asshole. I'm an asshole.
No, listen, me too. There's
something for everybody.
There's equal numbers of people sighing about both of our fucking takes here, and Matthew's just in the middle going like, "Nah, I just said fucking good things about both. I'm safe.
Man. Yeah.
He's safe." So we're gonna vote. I get to go first, and I think it's very clear that there's one story that needs to be told, and then there's some pigs and dogs need to get back to the fucking farm. So my vote: Story Must Be Told. Michelle?
I'll take your Story Must Be Told, and I'll pigs and dogs you, because I'm pigging and dogging it.
Nice.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Matthew,
Love
where you
it.
at?
I love that song, the pigs and dogs song.
I love it too. I think just because I can feel and hear Tom in Story Must Be Told, I got to give it to that one because it makes me think of like what might have come later as Tom got his feet under him a little bit more in the band.
Fuck yeah!
Ah.
There is a story that will be told. They probably won't go farther than this, but
told.
I'm glad it's got another chapter at least. But
You
hey,
guys didn't even say anything about like what pigs are and what dogs are.
That is.
I figured you'd be like, pigs eat everything, dogs,
Let me
there's some pig
peek
and
behind
dog
the,
stuff
I'm going to peek behind the curtain a little bit on this one. We'll find out in a little bit. There are a couple of songs that took all my attention this episode. It was really hard for me to give pigs and dogs the respect it deserves, and it's not a song that I've chewed over for years lyrically. So I agree, Michelle. I could have said a lot more, and probably these lyrics actually do deserve some dissertation. Yeah. I didn't have it in me because I'm not super into this song. I had never really looked at the lyrics before.
Sounds so fucking
but you're
creepy.
right.
He's so creepy.
Right. He's fucking great. But so did I give the song the due it deserved? Absolutely not.
No, I'm not saying you didn't, but
no, I didn't. I'm admitting it. I didn't.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
What are you gonna do?
It reminds me of I'm All Wet a little bit.
Yo, absolutely.
Yes.
Which I love that song. That's a song. Kicks ass.
See?
And that song starts with "Go into meditation," which is like my favorite opening of any fucking thing ever.
I bet it's not your favorite opening because we're going to talk about one of your favorite openings.
You're right. One of my yeah. Although I will say, speaking of favorite openings that are coming up, there are two songs in this episode that start with drummer count-offs, and it's very quiet. And the story must be told, but they don't do that very often. And this story must be told does have a like 1, 2, 3, 4, which
1, 2, 3, 4.
They don't do that too much. So it's interesting that we've got two of those to set. All right. Well, that was the first half, which actually kind of flew by. So, I mean, we're saying this is going to be a long one. We'll have to see how long part 2 goes. But before we do that, Matthew, you put out a call the other day to have people send us in stories and recordings and stuff. And actually, we got some good shit. And I appreciate that.
Well, thanks.
Thanks to everyone who made that call. Thanks to our Hong Kong listener. I don't have my email up, so I'm forgetting the name like an asshole. But thank you so much for that. Yeah, it was Tim. That's right. So shout out to Tim from Hong Kong who let us know a bit of his story, which was fucking great. And to everyone else who's written in, please do it. We want to hear from you. NoMeansNothingPodcast@gmail.com. Send us a note. Send us, a recording if you want. But today we actually do have an actual recording. Luke Moore sent us in a recording, and we're going to hear.
Oh, yeah, this is a good one.
That's a good one, and I've got it on.
I haven't listened to it yet.
Oh, good.
Nope,
I've got it on this.
I've got it
on this. I've got it on the soundboard, so you two may have to turn up your volumes a little bit yourself because I know it comes in quiet, but you'll get to hear it with us. So, let's hear what Luke has to say.
Hi, my name is Luke, and here's my No Means No origin story. It's 1992. I'm 17. I live in a house in the middle of the forest on a little island between Vancouver Island and the mainland with my back to the land hippie parents and a sister. And I've been studying the Bible for a few years at this point with the Jehovah's Witnesses, which is kind of freaking my parents out because they're not into that. But I'm looking for answers to the big questions that I have, and I'm looking for comfort. I'm looking for things to be simple, and I'm looking for, right and wrong, and hope. And I'm finding that the music of the day is starting to puncture holes in my religious fanaticism, because I've been listening to some alternative radio stations. I've been listening to the university stations, CITR and CFUV from UBC and UVic, and hearing this amazing music that's doesn't really fit with the worldview that I've been cultivating through my Bible study. And one night I'm listening to one of these stations, and Self-Pity comes on, and it's like nothing I've ever heard before. Andy, in his incomparable sneer, is reflecting my inner state back at me in a way that I've just never heard before. And thankfully, the DJ does announce who the song is by when he finishes his round of songs, and tells me that it's No Means No, and the song's called Self-Pity. So the next time I'm in Victoria, I go to a record shop, I buy the Sex Mad and You Kill Me CD, and just opening up that album art in the record store, I know that if I buy this album, there's probably no going back. I'm probably not going to end up going any further down the joyless road of, black and white thinking that I've been on with the Jehovah's Witnesses. Because this music and this whole aesthetic is definitely a threat to that. I'm looking at the picture of the guy shooting up with the caption "Fun" written above it, and then the silhouette of Dad opening the door and reading the lyrics, and it's scary to me. It's scary because this is definitely a threat to what I believe at this point. But I buy the CD, and it really, listening to this music, I start to allow for a lot more complex thinking. It challenges me. It makes me ask much better and deeper questions. And eventually I need to get away from the Jehovah's Witnesses and from my family, but for different reasons. And so I move across the country, and I eventually see No Means No for the first time in Ottawa when I'm 18 or 19, and that absolutely seals the deal for me, because the show was just like no other experience I'd ever had. There was so much joy and catharsis in it, I was lucky enough to see them about 7 times over the years before they called it quits. So what does No Means No mean to me? Well, after I gradually let go of the idea of finding simple answers in life, I really struggled for a long time to accept that maybe there's no ultimate meaning or purpose, and that possibility was always explored very deeply in songs like 0 + 2 = 1 or The River, and that those lyrics helped me at least ask those questions, even though they made me uncomfortable. So I still got involved in various spiritualities over the years, but that nihilism in No Means No's music always challenged me. And yet, at the same time, in their shows and in the music, there was so much love, really, and transcendence and even hope. Not much hope sometimes, but usually no. But certainly connection, and certainly catharsis, the things that I needed as a human being, that we all need, I think. And No Means No related personal story. Well, I remember back in the late 90s, I saw Mr. Wrong and the Hansons play in Victoria at the Limit nightclub, and there was a set break, and I was standing outside talking to somebody who was also at the show, smoking a cigarette, and I told him about how No Means No had basically helped me leave the Jehovah's Witnesses, and he told me about how they helped him leave the Canadian military. He said that he heard Sex Mad and it blew his mind when he was in the military around the time when Canadian peacekeepers in Somalia had been found to be engaging in sexual abuse, and there was a lot of toxic masculinity in the military. And he told me that he just realized after discovering this band that he couldn't do it anymore, and he got out of the military. And I realized at that point, this band has not just changed my life, that they've changed many lives, I'm sure. So I just wanted to end on with my 2 cents about one No Means No song, since it didn't come up in the wonderful episode you did on Brother Rat and what Slade says. Just like to say, I always thought that Slade as a name is an allusion to the verb to slay or to kill, right? So who is Slade? Has Slade been slain? Well, clearly not, but I think there's an ongoing effort to slay Slade. I think Slade is perhaps the id, the part of us that rejects all, norms of civilization, and can never really be slain. Anyway, you can take that or leave that. Just thought I'd put that out there. So keep up the great work. Love the podcast.
Fucking A, man. Luke.
Yep. Thanks, Luke.
That was amazing.
Shit.
I think we'll probably have opportunity to talk about why that recording in particular was so great for this episode with the songs coming up.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Just
for
a
many
little
reasons.
smidge of religious theme.
Yeah, and actually name checking one of the songs also, and just the deep themology, but that's not a word. Fuck, man, that was great. What a story. I mean, what a community.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I'm so grateful to hear from all of you and to get to share in how much this band has meant to people. It's fucking fantastic.
I can't believe what I've just heard, man.
Right? This is the first, I think Matthew and I both heard this already. And so
I
you had not
haven't.
heard this before, clearly.
No.
So, yeah, that's great. That's great. So
I'm
thank
proud
you,
of
Luke.
him. I'm proud of that guy. What's his name?
Luke Moore.
Luke.
Yep.
Holy shit, Luke. My God.
I asked him
More
a
of
couple
that,
questions, and unfortunately, it wasn't me on the radio,
Oh.
but I wish it had been.
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll
wow.
pretend
What
it
a
is in
story.
our
Holy
fiction.
shit.
That was
Oh my
Matthew's voice
God.
in the wild. All right. Fuck.
That's
So,
unbelievable.
Following from Luke's great story, we're going to hit you with. Really, we've reached the end. So I'm gonna say a few things before we even talk about the songs. I really was devastated when these 2 songs came up, right? And then the more I thought about it, I was like, well, really, what is this? This is a preview. This is like a message from the future of what this podcast is going to be like in 2 years. Like this is what's going to happen. We're going to be putting
gonna be
songs of this
fights.
caliber up
Blood.
against each other. Well, I just mean songs of this caliber are going to come up
Cartilage.
against each other. So it's
Busted
just happening.
femurs.
It's happening early. So I don't really, to peek behind the curtain a little bit more, I'm not going to be sad if either of these songs goes through because they're both winners. I mean, they're both number one. These songs are these are both number one contenders. These are not. I think these might be kind of towards the end. No, these are both number one contenders.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah.
It doesn't mean they'd win necessarily, but they are absolutely in that pantheon. And we got to we got to deal with them. If you haven't figured out by now, the 2 songs that we're talking about are from the same fucking album. First of all, which what the fuck?
One song
We've got-
between them.
We have one song between them. We've got Mary off, of course, you know it, you love it. 0 + 2 = 1, 1991, and the eponymous 0 + 2 = 1 off of 0 + 2 = 1, 1991. So what the fuck? Mary versus 0 + 2 = 1. This is the height of absurdity. And were I petty, I'd say podcast is over. We're done. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah,
This is
I
absurd.
understand. I feel
But
it.
on the other
wanna
hand,
end
I
it?
don't really feel that way. I feel lucky as fuck to get to sit here and try to talk about these songs. I'm also terrified. This is the other thing I'll say, just another peek behind the curtain. I have the hardest time talking about, we talked a little bit about this before the pod started, but before we hit record tonight, I have the hardest time talking about the songs I like the most. I'm never going to be satisfied. I feel like I've thought about these 2 songs in particular so much that I could talk for hours about them. I can't do that here on the podcast. And so anything I say is, I'm going to feel like shit after this because I'm going to go like, I didn't say what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Like
We haven't recorded for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We delayed recording this one last week. I've been fucking stressed out.
Yeah,
Like genuinely
it's hard.
stressed out.
They couldn't
It's
handle
hard.
it.
So
I
you know,
understand.
I get to go first here, which is, I guess, sort of a blessing and a curse. And I'm just gonna riff because I mean, you know, I've got notes. I'll try to refer to them, but all I really want to say is both these songs mean so much to me on so many levels. Like, I have thought about both of these songs a tremendous amount, and they are absolutely two of the songs that make No Means No better than any music I've ever heard in my life, and better than any music I ever will hear in my life. So we're
Yeah.
gonna start with Mary.
Everybody
As I kind of,
pray.
oh, go ahead,
Leave space
Matthew.
for
You
it.
had, oh shit!
Oh,
I'm so
yeah.
out of it. I didn't even think. Of course,
Play
we gotta
the
leave
ditty.
space for Mary. It's not the last. Here we go.
At the bottom of the sea, the crabs crawl on me, the mice crawl on me. They eat my voice, take all I have to give before you. Before all, I Mary, it's time to pray, Mary. Mary, it's time to pray. My mind is buried at the bottom of the sea. My voice is eaten by the crabs. You broke me when you broke the surface. Last, but not the last. At the end of the day,
I probably just put in the entire song because I can't find it there. It's just got to be the song, so it's gonna be a really long
Just play the whole
episode.
thing.
As I mentioned offhand with one of the other ones, this one is one of the few, I think few, No Means No song starts out with a drum count, right? We've got John, and it's such a, every time I start to hear that drum count, it just sets
It's
me off.
Boner time.
It is boner time in my pants.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. This song to me is beautiful. It's a masterpiece, and it's beautiful. It's sublime. All the words. This song is it's like a fucking direwolf looking at the edge of the forest that just bolts out, grabs me by the neck, and shakes me until my neck is broken, and just leaves me there bleeding and fucking happy. It's a song that is rending the sky through a ragged fucking tear, and through that tear is this blistering force of this vast cosmic intelligence, older than fucking life itself, just screaming at me. So I'm gonna tone poem it here for a minute, because this is how this song makes me feel. So it's like this song. These are the thoughts that I have when I'm listening to the song. It's like the universe is this vast, seething, vibrating cloud of energy, which across all these fucking great scales of the cosmos collects into these little self-repeating patterns of information, from fucking galaxies down to solar systems to suns and planets, down back through the trees, down to the mice, to the crabs. And they're
Whoa.
fucking sitting there imagining itself to be the crown of this entire fucking chain of being, sits little petulant man, stroking his lash, forging the marshes to the crosses. There kneels beautiful little Mary in prayer, praying to this paltry image of a God, which is so inadequate before this vast, incomprehensible force that's inside all of that, this great nature or beautiful chaos that's existence. This song is
You
that.
put on his shoulder.
So there it is. It's a little crab.
I'm sorry.
You guys
That
can't
Matthew
see it,
put a
but-
crab. He put a crab on his shoulder. I'm sorry.
So
I'm sorry. I ruined it. All right,
the
go on.
voice, that's all right. The voice in this song, Rob's voice, which is so fucking powerful, is ancient beyond measure. It's vast beyond measure. And yet it makes reference to itself through these smallest and most reviled of creatures, these mice, these crabs at the bottom, the scurriers, the scavengers. It's sort of the flaming sword version of the meek shall inherit the earth. It's like this raw, naked power coming through the smallest of these things. It's this incomprehensible force that existed before we did, will exist after we do, and that we're just this small, tiny little part. But it keeps talking about how fucking important we think we are, and how much we think we understand shit. And that's why it's the perfect. I mean, I'll reference this for the second song. It's a perfect pairing in a way to 0+2.
I have trouble
'cause it
distinguishing them.
I know it sets up our self-importance as the height of absurdity. These lines, you broke me, but I lived. And before the surface broke, under the depths, the sense that we keep piercing and digging and trying to conquer the earth. But in the end, none of that matters. It's the earth, this huge force, this force greater than the earth, I think. Like, it'll just remain after we're gone. It is the last. And this line, the last, but not the last, it really plays with that. It's really interesting. I'm the last, but not the last. Just like they do in The River when we get to that song someday. And the way that they play with that word, river, and what it means. This word last means so many things, right? It's the last, the thing at the end. It's the last. It's the last, meaning the thing that lasts, the thing that endures, that stays, that is always there. And to say last but not the last is kind of like, I'm the thing that's going to last, but I'm not the least. I may be the last. I may be the last thing, but I'm not the least. I'm not the smallest. I'm fucking the end and the beginning. I'm the alpha and the omega.
Jeez.
There are so many fucking lines in this. That line, I am the end of oak and yew, which you've got to read the lyric sheet to know that he's talking Y-E-W, the yew tree, like oak and the yew tree of God and death and you. So he's rhyming two versions of you that are two different words.
Oh, wow.
It's just a fucking masterpiece. This song's a masterpiece. The way musically, the way the trade-off of these quieter, groovy fucking moments into the blasts of heat that are coming from Rob, and the heat of the guitar, which is just this manic fucking grind and texture underneath that bass line. The drums, which are powerful, and just Rob's delivery. This is one of those songs where I feel like he is channeling something other. He is channeling that force. He is in touch with that force. And this is the emotional core of that part of No Means No for me. This is where Rob, I think, in this strain, which is something that I think comes through in a lot of songs, where it reaches this emotional core. And Rob hits on something that's greater than him. It's greater than the band. Something shined through in this song that was greater than the sum of its parts, as often happens with their music. But this song really speaks to me on that fucking level. And that musical break at the end, they do that often. That's one of their things. And it's so brilliant in this. Andy's guitar work in this song is fucking amazing, in that when he gets quiet and he starts playing the notes above the fretboard. It's so gorgeous. And the patterns and rhythms he does, and the way that it just fucking explodes. This was the song back in college that whenever we'd have parties over at my house, I would turn off the lights and say, I'm sorry, you gotta fucking listen to the song. We'd all be high as shit. I'd turn up the stereo like past where it could go, and I'd say, you've got to fucking listen to this. This was there's two things I have proselytized in my life. The Book of the New Sun, which is a book by Gene Wolfe. And if you've never read that, fucking read it. It's the most towering work of genius I've ever read. And of course, No Means No, but through this song. I think I've tried to make more people listen to this song than any other song in my life, because it sparks that part of me. It sparks that part that feels alive, that feels that life behind the world and the absurdity of how we think we fucking know anything about it. And yet it's not nihilistic to me. This is not a song about nihilism, as neither is 0+2. To me, this is a song about trying to really approach and confront and look at the vast mystery and energy that's out there that's very real, but we can't know it, not in the ways that we think. It's not saying there's nothing there. This is saying there's a vast, incomprehensible, just force of fucking life that you better pray to, because that's what's really that's what's deserving of your prayer, not these little fucking stones or these little fucking crosses. It's that power and that voice that's eaten by the fucking crabs and delivered to you by the fucking mice. And I will love this song until the day I die. This song has been at times. I can't say it is now because I don't know what my number one song is, but this has often been my number one song for sure. Okay, I probably have a million more fucking things I want to say about it, but that's it. All right, Michelle.
I want to play The Price is Right for you now.
Yeah, that's all right.
Oh, honey.
We had crab shoulder instead.
I'm sorry I interrupted, Matthew. What the fuck?
Right.
Is that a glow in the dark crab?
It's not your fault. It's his fault.
It
all
looks
right.
like a glow in the dark crab. You're so funny.
Michelle, you're up.
All right. The beginning, when John counts this off. Oh, God. Prepare to crap. I'm going to come right out and say this. The reason this song kills, people, is how they hone in on a half step that starts the measure. Bam, bam. The song seems to be an 8, and the half step is the 1 and 2. Now, I'm going to fuck this up. I'm going to say it wrong. I wrote out 1 through 8, and I circled where they put the notes that they played. This half step, the bam, and then they funk it up. Bam, 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 bam. Matthew, put down that fucking crab.
Fucking crab. Like,
trying to talk here. I'm trying to talk about funk.
Yeah, that you know how it feels.
I'm trying to talk about funk.
Sorry,
that
I have
first
crabs.
line. Matthew has crabs.
Crabs.
Yeah, this song. Okay. It's the first 2 notes they play that build this whole masterpiece.
Yes.
Then they use the same idea, cut the funk out, and insert this unconquerable thunder that continually lands back into the half step. I know nice. I constantly talk about half steps and tritones, but they are crucial in getting the vibe of unease and suspense. Fuck the lyrics. I got my own right here with this. The songwriting are my lyrics, or is my lyrics, whatever the fuck, how you say with a verb. Is the songwriting is my lyrics. The way they marry the composition with a passionate, painful message is art. And I'd be hard-pressed to find another song of theirs that does this so well. I'd love to hear the history of this one. Perhaps you just mentioned all of it, Jordan. To me, it sounds like somebody hurt Rob. And I'm going to call the Royal Mounted Canadian Police. And he's going to rip his heart out and tell you all about it. And he literally sounds like it. This song is a fucking masterpiece. And it's the best, I underlined this whole sentence, it's the best belted out song Rob sings. This song, this song is why they made volume knobs. And it's a pinnacle piece of perfection. But please, people, please, that half step, it sucks you in. They play some funk. And then when he does the thing, they go back to that.
So
fuck
right.
you.
It's the root.
Fuck you.
It's the root.
It's the root. It's the riff. It's funk, and then it's just this mountainous thing that lands back on the. That's why this song fucking kills.
That's brilliant. You're so fucking right.
Yep.
And you're totally right too about Rob's belting it out.
God. I think it's his best piece that he sings. It's like heart ripping out music. This is it. This is it.
Up there.
Yeah, like I said, he channeled it from another dimension. Anyway, all right, Matthew, what do you got for us? I'm really looking forward to hearing your take on this.
I don't know anything about the Wright brothers' religious history. They're Scottish, right? Presbyterian or
That's
whatever.
not religion. That's a fucking.
No.
Did you
But
say Scottish?
yeah, but the state religion of Scotland is Presbyterianism, which is just like one step off of
Oh, see, I don't know. That.
Catholicism, right? So I wonder whether
Yeah.
there is Catholicism in their background that they then rejected. Whether they were like made to go to church as little boys or something like that, because this really does seem to me be a rejection of dogma. And that is, I mean, Mary, such a Catholic theme, and I very rarely will just call it Mary the Last. So the actual title is Mary the Last in parentheses,
Right.
which I think is actually very powerful and evocative. Like what? There we go.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
no.
I wanted to do it off the side. I don't want to interrupt.
No.
No, that's your
It's
version of
Guinness
the
time.
crab.
That's
your
exactly-
version of the crab.
exactly.
We all got
I
it?
got crabs.
We all
I've got
got it?
Guinness crabs.
No,
All
Matthew
right,
got
continue.
crab.
There's
Go ahead,
so
yeah.
many fascinating ideas in this, and I got pretty deep into all the religious imagery that's in this song and the one that it's going up against, to the extent that I'm actually having a little bit of trouble distinguishing the thinking I did in one as opposed to the other. For me, I mean, it's such a claustrophobic feeling. Like he's alone. My mind is buried at the bottom of the sea. My voice is eaten by the crabs, and the mice. They're scavengers, as you said. Made me think of a conversation I had with a First Nations gentleman many years ago. They were talking about mythology, and I believe he was from the west coast of Vancouver Island. He was a China guy, and I was familiar with some of their myths that I'd been read to as a kid. I was curious how there are certain animals that don't appear in the myths or in the art too much. And I remember asking him, crabs, like how come crabs don't show up? And he's like, we didn't eat them because they eat the dead.
Yeah,
Right.
That's in the
Scavengers.
Bible with shrimp. Apparently, you can't eat shrimp
Or
in the
lobsters.
Bible, whatever
Yeah.
the fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the bottom
Same
feeders.
thing. Crabs,
Yep.
bottom feeders. Yep.
Yep.
But I
pull.
think during this entire album, I think Rob must have been thinking a lot about this religious mythology and like maybe numerology and the Kabbalah, because naming is so important, and numbers and names. I think if I am a number, if I am a word, the mice that crawl on me know this word.
Know this word.
And that sort of made me think about I don't know, the word muscle actually comes from Latin musculus, which means little mouse. I guess it reminds them
Whoa.
of little mice crawling around under the skin. So maybe the mice know the word, and then I'm like, well, what has a word on it? The golem, created from clay.
Wait, isn't that the guy that's in the
No.
the Lord
This
of
is
the Rings?
Yes, that's Gollum. Golem is from Jewish mysticism. It's a being created
Oh.
of clay.
That's right,
with
made
the
of
word
clay.
life carved on their forehead and their.
And it
Oh,
actually
okay.
appears.
Okay.
It actually appears in the Christian Bible as well. An unformed material is the golem, and that's like before man was formed from dust. So I started thinking about this, before the first word and after the last. And through so many religions, you said the Alpha and the Omega. That's a synonym for Jesus, all that can be. But before the first and after the last, that's outside of that, outside of everything that can be, and everything and nothing. It's such a no means no theme. In Arabic, al-awwal, the first, al-akhir, the last, and then emet.
Whoa.
In Hebrew is formed from the first, middle, and last letters in the Hebrew alphabet. And that is the word that they put on the golem to animate him. It's the name of God, and it actually means truth.
What the fuck?
And so I was thinking, the mice that crawl on me know this word. I'm this animated nothing.
Holy shit! You think that's what he was doing?
And then in the mythology of the golem, they take one of the letters away, and it makes the word for death or dead. And so this word, you're animated by naming, and naming is so important in Christianity. And we'll talk a little bit in 0 + 2 = 1 about what Rob thinks about applying names and numbers to things and how useful that is. So anyway, Mary, before you named me, before you broke me, so much stuff. I'm the end of oak and yew, again with the fucking letters. Oak and yew are important trees in Druidic Celtic mythology, and every
Yep.
letter in the Ogham alphabet is named after a tree. So the end of oak and yew,
Holy shit.
and yew signified the winter solstice, and oak the summer solstice.
Yeah, right.
So
exactly.
again,
Fuck.
the end of
The
the
cyclical.
old, well, also the end of the old religion.
Yeah.
And so Mary and the cult of Mary and Christianity supplanting all these older religions. I'm the last, which also means the most recent, right?
Right.
But not the last, because there will be more of these
right.
that come and supplant this,
Yep.
supplant you. Yeah, God and death and you, I am the last. I found it pretty interesting. Before the surface broke, and then you broke me when you broke the surface. When the surface broke, that implies that the ground is cracking open and you're falling in. But when you break the surface, you're coming up from the depths. So one is down and one is up. What I got here? Oh, another so Christ is golem, perfectly obedient. And another word, which I'm sure Rob wasn't thinking, which I found kind of interesting, of a last. A last is it's the fake foot that they use. Shoemakers form the leather around to make a shoe. So if the shoe fits, it's
What the fuck?
an unyielding material is bent around the last, just like a cult or a religion bends somebody around it to like an unyielding substance into something compliant, something obedient and perfect. Anyway, I haven't even talked about the music. Let's say we broke me, but I live without end under stones and crosses is like something that is outside of life, and he's at the bottom of the sea being consumed by mice and crabs. So that's all that's left for what comes next. I guess. What else have I
There's
got?
no shame in that.
Right. Musically, I love the contrast of the funk and the wacka wacka bits at the beginning, which kind of belies the extremely heavy. It's just, which is so relentless and so. It really does feel like you're being buried under the repeated bar.
Oh God, the music's so good.
So fucking good.
It's so incredible. And then the quiet part where he's just whispering,
So intimate.
Crabs crawl on me. The mice crawl on me.
Crawl on me.
Yeah. And then comes back and he's crying out, Mary, like plaintively. And Andy's playing on the little plucky strings. One interesting thing where he repeats it twice. Wrecked and lost is what it says in the lyric sheet.
But it sounds like last.
It does sound like last. Wrecked and last.
I've always thought that too.
Again, a sunken ship, maybe more nautical imagery. I love the open string in the final chorus, like doom doom doom. It really rings out, and Rob's screaming. The stark squawk right at the end. Anyway, fantastic song. Also one of my favorites. I've never spent that much time kind of dissecting it. I probably haven't come anywhere close to what it actually means, but such an incredible song and such a powerful song to be buffeted by. So definitely one of the ones that I don't know if it rises to first for me, but it's definitely one of the ones that I've used to introduce people to the band.
Yeah.
Great.
Jeez.
Anyway, there we go.
All right.
Wow.
Well, fuck. I guess I wish we had a palate
is
cleanser
fucking
for you
heavy
all, but
shit
we're
right
just
here.
about to go deep. We're about to go right back into the fucking well. Let's let the professor write the equation on the board and hear a little bit of that. 0 + 2 = 1.
Yes and no are like day and night. One breaks as the other is falling. Question the answers, stir the solutions. In the end, for light, you must burn your conclusions. Night and darkness love silence above all. Not the equations of sun-loving apes, or their prayers for the dead of a world that's to come. 0 plus 2 equals 1.
All right, so put your scrunchies down, no fucking shoulder crabs. I'm about to head out. All right, so Mary for me is a real visceral, emotional song about all of those themes. And I think Matthew, you there was so much fucking great shit you pulled out of that one. 0 plus 2 equals 1 has so many of the same themes in many ways. It's a much more intellectual song to me. It still hits me viscerally, but in a different way. It's kind of like if Mary is the sound of that voice tearing through the sky, giving me this message. This is like the grimoire dedicated to the worship of that power. Like it's me cracking open the book and reading the verses dedicated to that power. This song is probably for me the top of Rob's lyric game. It's another one that just seems wholly from another place, and the subtlety with which he crafts the poetry in this is astounding. It's astounding. You could take any two of these lines and write a 40 page essay at the least on to unpack it. Like there's zero way I'm going to be able to unpack this song because every fucking stanza is gorgeous. And there's this thing that I find in the lyrics, and again, probably not intentional, but in terms of the pattern of it, where you get these pairs of lines that are really tightly referenced, but then the second in the pair directly references the third line, creating a new pair, and then that one references the next line, which creates a new pair, and it's like this stair step of meaning.
Fucking painting.
It's this stair step of meaning that evolves it around a central theme in this way that's just incredibly erudite.
Are you saying the events are the same in a different chain?
Yeah, we'll get there. And so, you know, there's a couple, like Rub does this in every fucking line, but a couple that I want to point out, I'm sure Matthew will go a lot more in depth on some of these lines, but a couple that I want to point out in terms of the subtlety of Rob's brilliance in these little things that he takes religious or even just common sense wisdom, but adds in one phrase or adds in an S or rearranges it a little bit and deepens the meaning inexplicably. So one of the lines that sticks with me over and over and over is count on your fingers. It's the rule of the thumb. He just put in the word the, right? Rule of thumb. We all know that. But to put in count on your fingers, it's the rule of the thumb.
The thumb.
This stupid fucking monkey using his fingers to make sense of the word, the thumb being our distinguishing feature that allows us to make tools, this absurdity of our ability to make to fucking hold the beer, the absurdity of being able to count again, here come numbers, right? Counting and how we think we rule because of our ability to be on top of the world with tool use. There's just layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of meaning in this one fucking little phrase, and how it's paired with everything that goes around it. And the lines question the answers, stir the solutions. In the end, for light, you must burn your conclusions. I mean, tattoo that on my fucking back. For fuck's sake.
Do it.
That line is gorgeous. And
every single line of this song could be a tattoo.
Every single line. Well,
like it was with that one guy,
right?
It was that one guy did it from England. There, the guy.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I'm not going to because I'm not going to because I can't, because it would I didn't have the time, and I would seriously be like a 4-hour podcast for me to talk about every line in this song. But I have thought about every line in this song. And if you're listening to this and you haven't before, this is one of those songs I really recommend. Sit down with the fucking lyrics and just attend. Don't let this be one of the songs where the music just rolls over you and you're like, fucking listen to that music. No, attend to what Rob is saying.
Now, wait a minute. Now
it's well, we're gonna. No. That's good. I'm not saying.
No, I'm just kidding.
But even you do it. Fucking sit down with the lyric sheet. And
hey, I wrote down some lyrics. I got about 3 of them to tell you.
This is an absolute masterclass in communicating obliquely a beautiful sense of the absurdity of existence. It is, and I find myself, and I think this is the beautiful irony of this song, throwing meaning into it in such a complicated way in a song that is pointing out the absurdity of throwing meaning into things, right? Like I'm trapped in the absurdity of what he's telling me not to be trapped in. I'm counting the number of angels on the head of the fucking pin in a song that's saying, don't fucking do that. You can't, it's useless. Don't turn away. That's not what you should be doing, but I do it anyway. I can't help it. The song draws me in. I mean, the title itself on one level is just absurdity, right? It's an absurd statement.
Right, exactly.
0 + 2 does not equal 1. But does the void plus a binary give you unity? Yes, that's a common mystical equation. That's at the heart of most mysticism. That is an authentic statement at the heart of Sufism, at the heart of esoteric Christianity. This is a real sentiment. The fact that the void plus duality gives you unity. That's a real thing. 0 + 2 = 1. But it's also absurd. And at the end, the events are the same in a different chain. 1 - 2 equals nothing. And that's what you get if you subtract in the mathematical way 2 from both sides of the equation. That's exactly what you get. That's a real mathematical statement. There are 5 events in that chain. There are 5 logical events in 0 + 2 = 1. It's a song in 5/4 time.
Yeah, it is.
Sake,
You're fucking right, it is.
There's nothing about this song that isn't holographically broadcasting the message that at once pulls you in to want to fucking understand it. And then the closer you get to the understanding, what it's showing you is you can't fucking understand anything. That is not what you'll be able to do. The closer you look at it, the more I'm going to push you away. The closer you get to figuring this out, what's there to figure out? You can't figure it fucking out. The baseline is the chaos behind the universe is too vast for you to understand. It doesn't mean to me that there's not something beautiful and vast there. This is another one of those songs like Mary that it's not a song about nihilism to me, right? From my interpretation, it's a song about our incapacity as what we are to ever comprehend the vastness of the world around us, the vastness of this moment I sit in front. It's too big. And any of my attempts to sit there and count on my thumb are going to be too fucking paltry, too small, too little apes afraid of the dark to really matter. And he's put himself in the league of the best poets in my esteem in the way that he communicates that idea line by line by line by line in this. And again, I could sit here and pull up my lyric sheet and try to fucking go through every line. And I have ideas about all of them because I've sat there and thought about it before. But really, to me, what's gorgeous about this song is how he every fucking time sucks me in a song that is so intricate and so full of meaning, but right there on the other side of it is him saying, yeah, and you can't fucking understand it. That's the secret, buddy. Sorry. Keep trying, or because you can't fucking help it, because you're one of those fucking people sitting around the campfire. But at the end of the day,
band does this? What fucking band does this?
No band.
And they don't.
And musically, and again, I'm already feeling like, fuck, there's just, I'm going to have to stop because I just fucking hate talking about it because I love it so much.
You need to do a dissertation.
This has got to be the best song in 5/4 that any band has ever made in the world. that cyclical badass bass line with the snarling, grinding guitars under it that are just coming in from somewhere else. The otherworldly drums. Again, one of those songs where the musicianship echoes the meaning in a way that's completely intractable. And please, for the love of God, go and listen to the song right now with headphones. Please, because the production in this is so layered. You will never get to the bottom of it. There are little exclamations and little sounds and little voices and little tweaks and little twangs and little crunches so deeply buried. I heard some of them for the first time listening to this time around. There was shit that I'm like, fuck, I'd never heard that before. There's so many layers down there. It goes so deep. Again, just like the fucking meaning. Even the production of the song is reflecting the purpose of it. This is a absolute masterpiece in the history of songwriting. Fucking fight me if you don't agree.
No,
this
I'm not.
song is a absolute pinnacle. It also deserves to be at the end of this podcast, and fuck you for us having to vote one of these off, because both of these songs,
fuck you.
both of these songs, I'm basically saying that to myself. Both of these songs deserve to go to the end.
They do.
I mean, listen, man, I could talk forever. I'm going to stop, and I'm sure I'm going to say, like, I'm going to be listening to what Matthew's saying, like, oh, fucking yeah, I wanted to say that, but I'm going to let him speak. But first, Michelle.
Now,
what have you got to say for yourself?
This is one of the.
Fuck.
Well, you stole my thunder about how the song was in 5. But that needs to be said because that's cool. They don't do many songs in odd time signatures, even though people think they do. Add to that the song in 5. Add to that a gnarly, angsty, woven notes that turn into this tumor of gloom. This song is a churning blob that changes colors and is intriguing as hell. A few lines I remember. I'm going to quote some. I pay attention to the lyrics somewhat in this one. The hoot of an owl and the dreams of a mouse.
Ugh.
That's one I know. Nonsense is better than no sense at all. It was on that guy from England's tattoo. The guy, I forgot his name. Then a child needs a name like a corpse needs a paw.
So fucking good.
That line, that fucking line. A child
So
needs
good.
a name like a corpse needs a paw.
So many binaries.
I don't
in
even
this
know
song
what the
just
fuck
set
that
up for
means, but I
destruction.
just, Rob is doing the Sprechen Sie Deutsch or the Sprechen Sie. Where's your thing, Matthew? Get the machine out.
Yeah, this is the height of it, right?
Too late.
Yeah. Where's the machine there? The Sprechen Sie Deutsch.
Don't have it handy.
Get it. Well, get it handy. Andy stirs up the sludge with some excellent guitar work, and I don't recall if he uses a whammy bar. I think it may be all with his fingers with pitch bending. Matthew adores John's faraway hoots, and this song is loaded with them. This is the most hoots of John in the background. He's completely mesmerized. He's just out of his mind, John is, and he's just hooting it.
He's in the fucking zone, man.
He is in the zone. He's not even thinking about it, and he's just like feeling the work, feeling the music and the art, and he's hooting. It's almost like their official warm-up song with how fucked up it is and how it forces them to face the kind of music that they make. It's a snake in a simmering cesspool of sludge. And the ending of this that goes into the Valley of the Blind.
See, I didn't even fucking talk about that. I had it in my notes. Didn't even fucking talk about it. God damn it.
I'll say it for you, motherfucker.
So good.
How this goes into that is just like your neck's just like, what the fuck?
So good.
The
Jesus
fuck?
Christ.
Oh, that's how I ended my notes.
It's good. Listen. This is totally off our normal pattern, and I don't need to do this.
Got
But
the thing. I heard the lady do it.
this
Yeah,
Nice.
the Sprayskazonged it. The Sprayskazong.
one of the things you pointed out that I'd meant to talk about. I'm just going to briefly
Yeah.
say it because I know this is fucking Oscar. It's not my turn. I'm totally cheating. But
Whatever.
there's so many beautiful binaries in this song that are just set up and destroyed. Yes and no, like day and night. One breaks as the other is falling.
Yeah.
Nonsense is better than no sense at all. Truths that are by which all lies
Things
are
are
hounded.
founded or
all of these
hounded,
fucking
founded.
binaries that he sets up and then just breaks them, just
Like
subverts
a
them.
corpse
to
needs
show-
a paw.
Exactly, to show the to show what's behind them. You set them up to show what's behind them. Anyway, I'm gonna back off.
I
Matthew,
think we're all
can't
going to
wait
need,
hear what you have to
I'm
say
telling you,
about this.
we're going to need Matthew's washer for this. Seriously. This one here. This is the worst ever. These two.
Yeah.
The worst.
All
Did
right.
you guys want to take a break?
No.
All right.
Maybe. All right, Matthew.
Yeah, like I say, I think this whole, especially this side of the album, is maybe the whole album is really informed by whatever the hell Rob was reading at the time, and I have a feeling it had to do with a lot of mysticism, maybe interest in the Kabbalah, that sort of thing, and then the I don't know. I mean, which was nothing from something. If nothing is something. While I was looking up all that other shit about the Aleph and the end and the beginning sort of stuff, there's a couple of phrases. I think they're from the Torah. Yeshme ayin and ayin yesh, something from nothing, nothing from something, depending on the perspective of whether you are God or whether you are created by God. And again, this song is about the ineffability of understanding. And to apply all of these numbers and names to things is pointless. It's a lot of different thoughts, really, really great lines. He says, haloed with snakes, and then maybe it's just a halo of hissing snakes. What do you guys think of when you think of a halo of snakes? Who do you think of?
I think of a halo of snakes.
Yeah. The Medusa.
All right.
Do you not? So from Greek mythology, the Medusa
Halo
was
is
a gorgon,
snakes.
a demigod that basically a monster, and to stare into her face would kill
turn
you.
to stone.
You turn to stone.
Yeah. Yep.
So how did I've sort of thought of like the Medusa is a little bit like don't stare it in the face. It's a little bit like that Nietzsche quote, the abyss also gazes into you. It's like
back into you.
that maybe the Medusa could be used as sort of a metaphor for scientific determinism or nihilism. Like, don't look at too close because it's very depressing. It's totally not understandable. But I found it interesting when I thought about thanks to my dad, my wonderful late father, dead, who used to read to me stories from Greek mythology. Do you guys remember how the Medusa was killed?
Yeah, Perseus has the polished shield of silver that he uses the reflection to look into.
I am so ignorant.
So,
I don't know shit.
And I like that inversion of 0 + 2 = 1, and at the end, 1 - 2 equals. So to kill the halo of hissing snakes, he shows it its reflection, and then
1 - 2 = nothing. I've never put those two together like that.
and then Perseus actually like carried the head around with him, this halo of hissing snakes, to as a weapon to kill people with, and then ultimately he gave it to Athena, the goddess of wisdom, to put on her shield. So like this whole idea that the worship of knowledge and the worship of these numbers and names and everything like that, and then it was like codified and then used as a weapon and then used as a symbol of wisdom, and that all of that is pointless. So again, it sort of undoes all this sort of stuff. I did want to bring up the folk etymology of the rule of thumb was the thickness of the stick you were permitted to legally beat your wife with, which I don't know whether it's totally true, but I liked your thing about the rule of the thumb, where that clever little digit of clever monkeys causes all these problems. That the pursuit of answers, definitive answers, is again pointless. There's always an ineffability. The hoot of an owl and dreams of the mouse. It's unknowable. Just you are suddenly cease to exist in a violent way.
In the dreams
something
of the
out
mouse,
there. You can't
like the mouse wants to die.
Can the mouse even conceive of that owl? Probably not. Probably not. It just arrives soundlessly, and the mouse ceases to be.
And it's linked right next to the mouth to the breast, right? It's linked right next to something like that's nourishing, death and life, like right next to each other in these visceral
but also
moments.
that's again the beginning and the end. Like the mouth to a
Yeah.
breast is like the beginning of the baby.
Is
The
birth.
axe to a tree is the death of the tree.
Hey,
And yet both are nourishing,
Exactly.
right?
Again,
and
those
one
binaries.
is
set
one
them
is
right
incredibly
next to each other.
tender, and the other is
Christ.
incredibly violent.
fuck.
I really love I never thought of this before, thinking about this as well. But I mean, obviously, such a horrible idea. At the end, for light, you must burn your conclusions, but also stir the solutions.
Right.
Like not just like you put the salt into the water,
No,
and the
but
salt.
the answers. Stir up the answers. Question the answers. Yeah.
But also by stirring that solution, you make it homogeneous and make it indistinguishable.
Holy
Right.
shit.
Yeah.
This song is the motherfucker.
No, every line has like 20,000 meanings.
Yeah.
Yep.
Child needs a name like a corpse needs a pall. The pall is
Oh,
the,
that is amazing.
is a cover on a casket. Does the dead person need that? No. So does the baby need a name? Maybe not
No.
either.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
pointless.
Yeah. They're both just as pointless. The beginning and again, the beginning and the end, the
fuck.
baby and death, right?
Yeah.
Fuck.
And for me, like because of the pounding and the choked cymbal, the murder is done. The temple is founded. When the
Founded.
current is grounded, its circuitry hums. And then going back to this
Circuitry
idea
hums.
of the Frankenstein, or maybe the golem I was talking about before, AI, right? The worship of computing technology. This is the fucking terrible machine again. The worship of this technology.
We should end the podcast.
It's,
We gotta end this podcast right now.
it's a very, very difficult and powerful one. It's like the sound effects in this song, like so many growls and snarls and banging and like I don't know,
good.
tearing, and then that whom, that sort of sound. Like this happens a couple times in the song.
Otherworldly.
There's a car crashes. There's like
Right? There is, yeah.
right at the beginning, there's a little ding. Do you remember that bit right at the beginning? Listen
No.
for that pleasant little ding.
I'm gonna listen next time.
I'm
Yeah.
a ding hearer. I want to hear this ding.
Yeah, not the equation.
I don't think you can. Sun-loving apes.
Sun-loving apes. The
So,
prayers for
yeah,
the
the
dead
apes.
of the worlds yet to come. They're making up all these equations. That's their prayers. That's their attempts at understanding everything. And it's for some hope of something better, something understanding that will come in the future. And it's pointless. And then, of course, 0 + 2 = 1. 0 + 2 = 1. It's a religious chant again. It's them repeating it. It's the sun-loving apes. Their pointless, nonsensical equation that's going to help them understand everything. Anyway, the bass line is chewing on you and worrying at your bones. And yeah, this song basically wants to kill you, or maybe just will kill you. It'll roll over you and not even recognize that you existed. Right. So, yeah,
These two songs. Oh my god, these two songs.
I know.
Holy
I mean, this is
shit.
like, to me, the void is the vote.
Encompasses
Void?
this
I said
band
void.
for
The void
everything
is
they
pointless.
are.
The vote on this is pointless, everybody, because
I don't
both
think we should
deserve-
vote. I don't think we should vote.
We
Maybe
have to.
We should let people
This
vote.
is the game. The events are
No.
the same for the different game, and the stupid podcast and they're fucking idiots. And I got to go first. So I want to say at the heart, it doesn't matter what I vote for, because both of these songs are absolute masterpieces in any genre of any artist of any period. These are two of the songs that rise above everything to me, all music. In my experience, these are songs that they're just untouchable. So my vote means nothing. It's as meaningless as the void being pointed to in both of these songs. So I've got to
We're
use
just
my
doing
own.
this for entertainment purposes.
I've got to use my own momentary subjectivity and just say, okay, this is really one of those moments where I can't be objective about it. I've got to just say right now, what do I want to vote through? And while I do consider myself brain-centered in many ways, I'm also someone who is in music very moved by that music, which touches my heart a lot. And
Yes.
both of these songs do that, but Mary touches my heart in a different way. It gets to a level of my guts in a way that 0+2 gets to my mind. And I think both of those are things I celebrate. But at this moment, sitting in this chair, it's Mary that I want to send through. But that's not because I think it's better than 0+2 = 1. It's not.
Exactly.
They're
Right.
they're of a piece to me. And that's why in a certain way it's gorgeously perfect that these two songs, out of all the fucking songs we wanted to put up against each other, came up. They're thematically linked. They're linked on the album. They have they have the same tone. Matthew, something that you mentioned that I've always thought too. Rob was into something very specific on this album. He was into something deep. And these two songs are such gorgeous statements of that. But anyway, I've spoken too long. Mary is who I'm voting for today. Michelle.
For somebody who doesn't pay attention too much to the lyrics and very much pays attention to the music, I know exactly what you're talking about. And I don't even know half the shit that they're saying in the lyrics. Like, some of them come out to me that I mentioned in my notes, but these are epic pieces of music. This is a really hard decision for me to make. I did circle one as my answer, but this band is mammoth. They have a lot to say, even if you don't pay attention to what they're saying. My vote is for Mary.
Fuck. All right. Well,
Wow.
Matthew, where's your where do you land?
I was trying so hard to find some way to disqualify one of these because I was not sure. And 0+2 = 1 because of the way it ends. 1 - 2 equals, and then because it's so nothing. It's so connected to the next song
0.
that I thought that because it's so connected to the next song that maybe it doesn't stand on its own quite as well as Mary does. But then I listened to it just by itself, and 1 - 2 equals, and that's just as good.
Exactly. It's just as
Exactly.
good. It's just
Yeah.
as good.
Yeah. So I think because of kind of what you said, I mean, Michelle, you said that 0+2 = 1 is like it's a big blob changing colors and shit like that. Like
Oh my God, it is.
It is a Shoggoth of a song. It's an iridescent, multi-eyed monster of a song.
Yep.
With all sorts of limbs and sensing organs. But it is not a pretty song. It's beautiful in its way, but it's a scary song. And Mary is scary in a different way, but I think that Mary is a more beautiful song, and I think I have to give it to Mary the Last by a fucking eyelash. By a fucking eyelash. Yeah.
By the by the hoot of an owl and the dreams of a mouse. That
Yeah,
one's
yeah,
scooped
yeah.
by.
Yeah.
Fuck,
Horse
man.
needs a paw.
And you know what? Anybody out there, if you're screaming into your mic about this, I don't blame you. Like, I'm screaming at myself in a way. Listen, we all know, we've talked about this before. There's going to be sort of people's choice where shit comes back in. There's no doubt to me that this has got to be one of the songs that ends back up in the mix. And fucking if none of you vote for it or whatever mechanism we've made doesn't bring it back in, I'll probably bend the rules of time and space and bring it back in myself.
You gotta.
More than I know our listeners pretty well by this point, and like just NoMeansNo fans in general, and people genuinely like the podcast and everything like that. And I'm sure people have been genuinely upset, generally disappointed, generally like disagreeing with us. But I think this pairing, maybe more than any other one, they're probably just fucking sympathetic.
Yeah,
because that wasn't fucking easy.
No, this is probably
good-
the hardest one we've ever done.
A good reminder, in the very spirit of the songs that we just went through, it's fucking meaningless. What the fuck does it matter, right? Like, our votes
No,
mean
we're
nothing.
just-
So who the
right,
fuck
we're
cares?
just
You're still allowed
think-
to listen to them.
I think more importantly,
Yeah.
what I would hope. No, actually, what you guys don't know yet, I'm going to take this chance to announce it. Alternative Tentacles got in touch with me, and they agreed that only the song that we vote as the number one song is the one that's going to end up on Spotify and get a vinyl
Right,
reprint.
okay. There you go.
Baldwin, it's Baldwin.
Yes.
If it's fucking Baldwin, I am going to hunt both you down and kill you. So
That's a good song.
But what I would like to
Don't.
say is that hopefully what all of you took away from this is how much affection we felt for those two beautiful masterpieces, regardless of which one
Exactly.
we voted through. I didn't expect this to be unanimous. I'm kind of glad because that has been like Michelle knows. She assumed this was my number one song. It's kind of not.
Yep.
We'll get to that someday, but holy fuck. Holy fuck.
I
one of those
really
ones where
think this was
I didn't
your
know.
favorite song.
I didn't
It
know
has
until
been, but it's not anymore. It's not anymore.
Whoa!
But we'll get there. Hopefully not on this poll, but we'll see.
It's hard to have a favorite song with this band.
It really is. This podcast is teaching
I
me.
made the hard decision to have one, and I still stick with it.
Yep. There are big songs that there are songs that have come up on this podcast that I didn't give the credit they deserved, and they're now high in my.
Tired of
ranking.
Waiting kicks Mary's ass, and y'all know it.
Okay, we're gonna move on to Andy's corrections after that. I get to read Andy's corrections this time. We're gonna talk about 3 songs.
Oh, wait. Jordan, it's
we've
that
got
special time of the night.
I guess we're doing a pee break at a different time.
sorry.
Matthew's gonna go drain the snake. He's going to go choke
He's
his
gonna
chicken.
drain my halo of hissing snakes because that's
He's
how
gonna
many there
hiss.
are. It's like,
It's hissing like pee on the pavement.
Oh my God. Don't choke the chicken. That's not what going to the bathroom means.
Well, I don't know what he's doing out there. He says he's fucking pissing. but
Hey,
he
good
got so
point. He
got
could be
he got so turned on by those songs. He's just got to
probably going to rub one out.
got to rub it out. He's got to rub it out. I'm telling you. Hey, listen,
like I
I
said,
fucking loved to hear.
I don't
first
pay
of all,
attention to lyrics. I don't pay attention to it all, but I
you
know
can't
what
help
you're
it with this,
talking
right?
about.
It comes through.
No.
But I loved
Yep.
hearing what you
Yep.
had to say musically about these songs because, like you've pointed out, these are some of those songs where the structure of the music and the way they
Yep.
play it is so in tune with
Marries
what
the
they're
lyrics.
saying. It marries it perfectly. I really can't think of other bands that do it that well. There just aren't. There are other bands where I feel like they do good job, but even like I've come to appreciate the way Rob's vocal delivery and Andy's vocal delivery. There's no one else that does it that way. Like there could be really good punk bands that are really good and intricate, but the singer is a singer and I can't connect with it because the singer's trying to sing.
Whoa!
They're not doing
Hey.
what they're doing in this band. That was quick.
What kind of piss was that? Were you
a
like
fucking beautiful one. Oh my
Pushing
god!
it
I think I
out?
saw God.
No, God doesn't exist. We just fucking
Was
determined
there
that, Matthew. Do we have to go
smoke
back and play
coming
this
off?
podcast for you? Come
of
on.
your urine? Was there smoke coming out of the urine? It's a little chilly tonight.
Yeah, it is chilly. Thank God. We just got a fucking giant storm here in the last couple of days. It was the most beautiful thing I've
Yeah,
ever
I'm
seen.
happy for you.
All right.
Although I don't want you to flood.
I'm not gonna skip it like I tried to last time because this is
Oh,
Andy's
what key would you
corrections.
like this in?
Andy Key. Give me a good one.
Don't say. Okay. A, Andy.
Andy's corrections. Here we go. Andy's got
There we go.
comments on 3 songs for us today. So here
About
goes
that?
Andy. Self-pity.
Oh!
Which is another good callback to our recording today. So Luke was well timed for us, man. Thank you, Luke. Self-pity. In my top 5 No Means No song list.
Of course it is.
A good transition from the 2-piece sound to the 3-piece sound without things going all rock. Some of my
Right.
favorite Rob lyrics ever, too. Really, really basic, but saying a lot. Pre-hyperbole, No Means No. The original recording with Rob's beautiful pre-nodes voice is the best version. As for the guitar solo, it was always fun to do, particularly with the on-off foot switch. My own personal form of therapy. Funny because I often hesitated to get too noisy on the guitar during my time in Infamous Scientist, but with No Means No, it just kind of came out naturally.
Oh, God.
The end of all things. Not sure exactly how Rob and I ended up switching instruments. Perhaps Rob was showing me the guitar part and I picked up the bass. We'd seen others do it, specifically the Gang of Four, and it seemed like a cool idea to shake things up. The recording also features Rob's old archtop guitar. I remember being a little suspicious of the chorus. I was worried it was a bit too anthemic, a little too close to holding your Bic lighter up in the air rock. And then finally, Oh No, Bruno. So John. The best Hanson song that wasn't a Hanson song. Or was it? The subject of the song, as well as the cribbage references, has already been talked about at length, so not much to add here. It's kind of an oddball on Wrong to me, but in the best possible way. I really like the fact that it's there. For a couple of minutes, all the angst and dread that permeates all the other songs on the album is gone, vanished. I can't imagine it being on Sex Matter Small Parts. Fuck yeah, that's so great. I have to admit, I never knew before he wrote this that End of All Things, they'd switch instruments. They're both, he's so fucking good at the bass and Rob's so good at the guitar. It's like, fucking great. You guys can switch it up.
Yeah, well, they're that talented they can switch.
That's what I mean. It was so fucking good. Thank you, Andy.
But
as
nobody
always.
played the drums though.
Yeah, no, there was no
They
drummer.
just
on that
left
one.
that to the master of disaster.
Yeah, or it was John just doing that as a beatboxing, I think.
Right.
It's all mixed up.
Right. Yeah,
That's fucking
yeah,
great shit,
yeah.
man. Thank you. Well, shit, guys. We I both am mortified and really happy that we made it to the end of that one. I'm mortified and very relieved that those songs are done because I was both really anticipating them and dreading them. But thanks to both of you for sitting here and riffing on them for that long. That was fun as hell.
I hope people
Love to
who
hear what you
listen
guys had to say about it.
feel the same way about these two in particular.
I'll be
0
interested.
+ 2 = 1 and Mary.
I'll be
I
interested.
hope people, other people who listen to this podcast know that how monumental those two particular songs are.
Yeah, yeah. Well, anything to add
'Cause
before
they
we put a cap on this one?
Pigs and dogs rules.
That does.
Just a
Too
terrible
bad
machine.
it's gone. Terrible
Yeah.
machine.
The
Well,
Spreakozoid.
we've sent This Story Must Be Told to tell another story. We have Let Mary Have Her Time of Prayer. Pigs and Dogs is back in the barnyard. And unfortunately, 0 + 2 = 1 is in the corner counting on his fingers. But just remember, that's what happens when you walk the streets with a bag in your head and a sign that says, "Every day I start to."
Every day.
You sick and tired of the same old thing? Or are you happy enough? Tell me, when there's so much becomes so little, when does too little become too much? When does so much become so little? When does too little become too much?
Right. If you've stuck around, which maybe you have now because you know there's something to stick around for, we're going to see what bullshit the terrible machine pulls up this time. So I'm pushing the button.
It's like the wheel on The Price is Right when you.
Ooh, no, this is just funny
it really
because of
bad?
the alliteration. It's not really bad.
Okay.
I think this one's going to be actually pretty fucking easy, frankly.
You're
But
spinning the wheel on The Price is
let me
Right.
get the chat up. All right, you ready? This is
Yeah.
just funny because of the alliteration.
That is
Yeah?
funny.
Yeah. Again,
Wow.
pretty fucking easy, but okay, this one's also easy for me. Wow, we'll have a lot to talk about in how these pairings are very, they mirror each other in ways, but this is going to be a fucking easy episode, let me tell you.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know what my vote's going to be for this one.
Oh, I do, 100%. But I have excited to talk about one of those songs anyway. All right, everybody. That's it. Go home. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Can't stay here.
Fuck off.